gentlemen, I will call the Paulding County Board of Commissioners December 11th work session to order, and looking for elected officials in the audience. Help me out here, gang. Gary walked in. Our Honorable Sheriff. Hey, Sheriff Gullidge, thank you for being here. And City Councilman Jimmy Henson's here. Where are you, Jimmy? Yeah. Welcome, welcome. So, Brian, if you'll bring up the list, please. And if you have any kind of cell phone on, please turn it off. Thank you. I'm always thrilled to have Miss Becky Chaille in our midst, and she's the senior leader of the Firestarter Ministries International, and does a whole lot of things for Paulding County. And Becky, thank you for being here and bringing us our invocation and leading us in the pledge afterwards.
Thank you. Let's pray. Father, I thank you, and I know all of us thank you this day for the privilege to live in the great United States of America, and for all of the wonderful freedoms, Lord, that you have allowed us to have and that we enjoy, especially to be able to invoke your blessings in a public gathering. Father, today I pray for all government leaders, our military men and women, our first responders, and all of their families, that you would protect them, guide them, strengthen them, Lord, give them great health, abundant grace, and great wisdom to carry out everything that in order for them to fulfill their duties to serve, protect, and defend us. Father, without question, there is great darkness and despair all around us. And today I'm reminded of your word from the great prophet Isaiah, where you spoke through. The time of darkness and despair, though, will not go on forever. The people who walk in darkness will see a great light. For those who live in a land of deep darkness, a light will shine. People will rejoice. They will rejoice before you as people rejoice at the harvest, and like warriors dividing the plunder. For you will break the yoke of their slavery and lift the heavy burden from their shoulders. You will break the oppressor's rod just as you did when you destroyed the army of Midian. For a child is born to us, a son is given to us. The government will rest on his shoulders, and he will be called Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, Prince of Peace. His government and its peace will never end. He will rule with fairness and justice from the throne of his ancestor David for all eternity. The passionate commitment of the Lord of Heaven's armies will make this happen. Father, I thank you that the weight of government does not rest on our Board of Commissioners' shoulders, but it rests on you. So, Father, I thank you for giving them great wisdom and grace that will empower them to accomplish all that needs to be done for Paulding County now and beyond, all in the wonderful and matchless name of Jesus. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you so much, Becky. Minutes, the November 13th, 2018 work session minutes and the November 13th, 2018 board meeting minutes are available for review. Under announcements, our Positively Paulding is going to show us some of the highlights of the Hiram tree lighting and also the Dallas Christmas parade. Enjoy.
Welcome to the 26th Annual Invitation Christmas Parade, brought to you by the Paulding County Rotary Club. I'm Stacy Hamby, president of your Paulding Chamber of Commerce and also a proud member of the Paulding Rotary Club.
And I'm Ashley Henson with the Paulding County Sheriff's Office, and we're glad to be here today.
great event. I wouldn't miss it for anything. So wish everybody at this time a Merry Christmas to all.
Merry Christmas to you, Dave.
I want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas, and I want to say thank you for all the support I've had all these years as Clerk of Superior Court. Paulding County is a great place to live and a great place to stay.
Well, it looks like we're about to come to the conclusion of yet another wonderful, successful parade.
26 years this parade's been going on. So just what a great testament to the city of Dallas, to the Rotary Club, and all the people that have put this together. Just a great, great parade. From the bottom of my heart, and Stacy's as well, I want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas, and I hope everyone has all their dreams and wishes fulfilled for this year, and have a great 2019 that's coming up.
Absolutely. Merry Christmas.
I love it. The call Planning and Zoning Commission meeting that we had in November, and those items that were forwarded at the 2:00 p.m. Board of Commissioners meeting for consideration, this was done so that applicants would not have to wait until the end of January. So just wanted to point that out this morning, so we won't have such a long gap in the Planning Commission productivity. Thank you. And the items that are forwarded are for 2:00 this afternoon at the voting meeting, or the regular meeting. The Board of Commissioners would like to welcome Mr. Michael Thomas from the Georgia Association of Water Professionals to present the Collection System Gold Award to Paulding County Water Systems. Thank you for being here, Michael.
Yes, sir. Thank you all for having me. It's a pleasure to be with you today. I work for the Georgia Association of Water Professionals. We represent about 4,000 professionals who work in the water business, and we sponsor an awards program to recognize the great work that those people do. We refer to the water business a lot of times as the silent utility, because nobody knows about us unless something goes really wrong, and then that's when folks hear about us. But your folks have done a fantastic job. At our fall conference, they received the Collection Systems Gold Award. So I want to call up your staff, Chris Alvey, Daryl Vaughn, Laurie, if you want to join us. The Collection Systems Award recognizes folks who do a good job with their sewer system. The collection system collects the sewer from all your homes and transports it to the wastewater plant. And so we do a one-day audit of the work that they do. This is the first time these folks applied for the award, and usually on the first time people don't get it because they don't know everything that's required. Your folks, first try, receive the award, so that says a lot about what they do. But they manage the sewer system. We make sure they're employees are well trained, have the right certifications. We look at how they handle fats, oils, and grease, how they maintain pump stations. Do you have enough capacity in your sewer lines? So it's a pretty comprehensive audit that we do. And it not only recognizes their good work, but it encourages people to get even better. And again, your folks really shine because first time around they receive the award, and that shows what strong work they do. So we're proud of them as an association. I hope you're proud of them as a staff. And I'm going to present them with a certificate for the Gold Award. You have to score at least a 95 out of 100, which obviously they scored over 95. So again, job well done.
Thank you, Mr. Thomas.
Thank you.
We knew we had the best, Michael. We have no invited guests this morning under bid awards. Award to design build. Award the design build of the East Hiram sewer improvement to John D. Stevens with phase 1, that's a preliminary 30% design, not to exceed $107,337. So post 3, Ms. Pollard and Ms. Ashmore.
Good morning. Timing
Morning.
couldn't be better for this, right? This is a contract that will design the installation of approximately 10,400 linear feet of gravity sewer line, one sewer lift station, approximately 17,000 linear feet of sewer force main, and a tie-in of the force main to an existing Cobb County 12-inch force main. It doesn't happen very often, but we had quite a few participants in this. I think a couple of you participated. The water system engineers participated. Greystone Power participated, and the county engineer participated. They scored, the highest score of the proposals was the same as the lowest cost. So that doesn't happen all the time, but in this case it did. The JDS team, or the John D. Stevens team, includes Freeze and Nichols Incorporated and Willow Construction, of which we've done work with both of them in the past. So I'm sure Laurie may have more about the project, or if you have any additional questions. Again, this is the first 30% of the design, and then they'll be back with the final cost for approval.
I just wanted to mention that we are fast tracking this project. We had committed when we put the development agreement together with Greystone to have this contract, to get these proposals in, get them evaluated, and get a recommendation to you no later than your December meeting. We were very fortunate. We received 6 excellent proposals, so it took us a little longer to get through them all and come to a recommendation. And the key thing is that their schedule actually it gets us done in advance of the requirements of the development agreement.
Thank you. Good work.
Thanks, Laurie.
Under reports from committees and departments, Ms. Ashmore is also going to talk about the water systems director, and it's the AMI updates that she's going to provide for us this morning.
I should have just brought this over with me to start with. So I wanted to give you an update. We've been in a pilot program for the last year looking at the implementation of AMI in our system. The Advanced Metering Infrastructure, or AMI, is a two-way communication network that transmits and receives water use data from our customers' meters. So it essentially, instead of sending someone out to read that meter physically, you are able to pull that up electronically on a computer in the office. When our billing representatives come in the morning, they're provided with a screen giving us insight into meters and alarms. We presently have over 5,000 meters connected to the AMI system, and we are using those alarms to look at meters that are not currently sending a reading, a problem with a meter, or a problem with usage through that meter, indicating an issue on the customer's plumbing. For example, this is just one residential account that we've worked with. If a customer has a leak on their side of the meter, a lot of times it isn't found until they get their next bill. So it could be running for about 30 days, or longer before they see that leak on their bill. So we're seeing customers' usage on an hourly, a daily, a weekly, a monthly basis. And they can provide us with alarms to be able to identify issues to the customer. In this case, their water use starts rising dramatically from their normal use. The customer was notified and the leak was fixed all in a 9-day period. Imagine if that had leaked over the course of a month. So we've been looking at what does this mean for us. So far, we're using this for read and leave on. When a customer is moving out and a new customer moving into an address, when the timing lines up, we're able to actually read that meter from the office, record those readings without having to send someone out. We're already starting to see the benefit of that just with these 5,000 meters. We're saving over 2 person hours a week on this, and we'll continue to grow as we expand the system. We also do a number of rechecks, and those can be whether it's something that's identified when we're getting ready to send a bill that we need to recheck someone's reading, or a customer call and them saying, I don't think I've used this much water. And so on these AMI meters, we're able to also do that without sending someone out. But the most significant thing for me are the improvements in customer service. We're able to notify them of a leak rather than responding to a call that says, why is my bill so high? It is a much more customer-friendly system, and it's what our customers are expecting from us now. We're also able to provide immediate feedback. On the customers that are not connected to AMI, they may call and inquire. We take that, we have to send someone out, we have to get the information back from the field, we then have to call them. In this case, someone connected to AMI, we can just, while they're on the phone, we can look at their account and deal with it immediately. And then the other thing it supports we're able to have conversations with our customers based on their use over time, instead of a single reading at the end of the month. You can tell what has occurred. You can see a leak that has been on, or a faucet that's been left on by a child outside, and then gets turned off after days or a week that it's been running. So it gives us that opportunity to be able to talk to them with real-time information. So what do we see as our next steps with AMI? Well, first of all, we've got 3 stations right now, and the area you saw in the map at the beginning of the presentation is our existing coverage area. We have meters in that coverage area that are not connected to AMI. So the first priority is to get those added into our AMI system. To be able to work with the City of Dallas, we can also expand our coverage area based on our recent agreement with the City of Dallas to be able to ping off of their antennas and continue to grow there, and then continue to expand our AMI coverage area so that we optimize our customer connections and our labor resources. Right now, I've been asked, what do we do with the savings? Right now, we're putting them into changing out meters, getting things converted to AMI, and getting the readings in 1 gallon units, because 1 gallon is the optimal for being able to identify if there's a problem or a leak on the customer side.
It's good stuff, Laurie. Good advancement. Thank you. Other comments?
I guess it also saves the customer some money, because if something goes, by the time they get their bill, they're in the next month.
Right.
And sometimes we may make an adjustment. However, it's very little adjustment. So in the long run, it saves us money too.
We're on, we make an adjustment on a single month.
Right.
And a number of the people will have a leak occurring over 2 months.
Thanks so much for that report. And the next report is equally good. Ms. Lippman, Community Development Director, is going to speak along with one of her coworkers on Business License Task Force and the Business License Navigation Program. Very exciting stuff.
Yes. Thank you for letting us come talk about this. Business licenses did come back into the Community Development Department back in February, and once that came in, we started the Business License Task Force and the Navigation Program, but I couldn't resist giving you a little data. I will be back next month with a quarterly report on business licenses and building permits, but with a business license, it starts down in the permitting department with what we call a building occupancy inspection, and from January to November, we had 150 of those, and I'm pleased to report that only 6 failed that first inspection. And just to clarify, a building occupancy inspection is when a new business goes into a commercial location that doesn't require new construction or remodel. So the time frame and the result of that is a certificate of occupancy, and the average time from when they paid for the inspection to get a CO was 2.8 days. The average time after that CO was received to get a new business license was 16 days, and that is something that we would like to reduce. So I would like to introduce Jennilee Walters, who is the lead business license technician, who is going to talk about some of the initiatives we have to make that process go quicker.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm here to talk a little bit about the Business License Task Force and the Navigator program that we have started this year. Like Ann was saying, business license, the direction had moved from the Marshall Bureau to back under Community Development in February of this year. It did get developed as its own division, working alongside Planning and Zoning Division, Development, and Building and Permitting. These wonderful ideas of the Business License Task Force and Navigator program, I do have to give that credit to our County Administrator, Frank Baker. He did come to me and Ann at the beginning of the year to start the Business License Task Force. Task Force is basically defined as a temporary grouping under one leader for the purpose of accomplishing a definite objective. So under Frank's leadership, we did get a small group kind of consisting of department heads, administrative employees, and different inspectors to start this business license task force. And our goal was basically to help assist potential business owners go through the business license process from start to finish in a better manner. The first thing we did when we got together as that small group was we learned about each other. A lot of us hadn't even met each other face to face. We had just spoken over the phone to each other. We really didn't know what roles each one of us played in the business license process. So we did a lot of learning about each other. And then the next thing we did was bounced ideas off of each other, compiled ideas of how we can streamline the process altogether. We did discuss things that we can control, such as educating citizens on a a better basis, providing, maybe revamping some of our paperwork, things like that, so that we can help streamline the process. And we also discuss things that obviously we cannot control, things that have to do with inspections, things that are kind of outside of our control that we can't override or overlook. Sometime in the summer, kind of the beginning of summer, we did implement the Navigator program, and that idea was basically to create a middleman between the businesses and then all the departments to kind of help as a guideline to help these business owners go from start to finish if they want to set up a business in Paulding County. I did step into that role in the summer, and I've been working very diligently on kind of coming up with new ideas with the other departments to help streamline the process. I did want to show you an example of a couple of things. This form right here we now call our building occupancy inspection application. Long ago this was known, or before we started the task force in the Navigator program, this was kind of known as the routing sheet or the runaround sheet. And this would be used for folks, like Ann said, that would be moving into an existing suite, an existing tenant suite that no construction was required, whether it be the same type of business or a different type of business. And the reason why they called it the runaround sheet or the routing sheet is because it would start with the permit office and then they would run to a different department to get different signatures and run kind of back and forth. So it's caused some time lapses and caused, I know, some frustrations with business owners. So as the Navigator, what we agreed upon was to kind of have these businesses start and end with the business license division, obtain the education and all the information at the get-go with me, and then I would actually handle getting their signatures on the building occupancy inspection application instead of the business owner doing that. Obviously, if there were any questions from any specific department on this paper, then they could, that department took the time to reach out separately to the business owner, and then they would go through their regular inspections with the fire marshal and the building inspector. We did actually rename this. We did add a department to the building occupancy inspection. Just renamed it to kind of make things more clear that it is a final inspection that they're getting to occupy that space as a business. Let's see. This also helped increase communication between businesses and myself and other departments that are involved in the business license process. We created a lot of efficiency just regarding the timeline of starting the process to starting the actual business. And then we ended up incorporating other outside departments, different state agencies, such as Environmental Health and the Secretary of State, that came alongside us to help work with streamlining the process. As we went on, our group, our business license task force kind of grew to include more frontline employees, people that were more involved with answering the phones, things like that, and they were a big help too in just coming up with ideas on how to make the process better. One of the other forms I wanted to show you, let me go back up here, was just creating better information for folks that want to come in and start a business. I did create a lot of these how-to applies is what I call them, and these are just different kind of checklists. This is just an example if somebody wanted to come in and take new ownership or open up a new convenience store in the county, and this would just kind of give them a checklist to go back to look at and say, okay, these are the things that are required for me to turn into the business license office. Again, some of it I'm kind of help guiding them through, but this would give them some great information to let them know, okay, these are kind of the things I have to multitask with. Let's see, and this would alleviate some emails and questions via phone if they had this information in their hands ahead of time. It was just a little more clear and more concise information to the businesses. I know that Will Lyons came in and introduced some information on the new website a couple meetings ago. I did work on the business license page aspect of it as well and revamped it and just added new wording, again, to kind of make it clearer to business owners to help them through the process. As we kind of grew the task force, we also included Hiram. Hiram is, the county currently still handles Hiram's permits, the city of Hiram's permits. So we did invite them and kind of invited them to one of our meetings and introduce the streamlining idea and let them know what we've been doing this year. Things that we are looking forward to doing for 2019 are including the city of Dallas and kind of working with them with the streamlining idea of the business license process, and then also working with the Chamber of Commerce to hold some quarterly meetings for business owners that may have any questions or just have any information that we can provide to them and educate them on starting a business here in Paulding County. So I want to, say thank you from my division. I know I speak on behalf of community development and my division personally for just thank you for all the support from all the county, the commissioners and all of our staff and Frank just for helping me with these ideas and allowing me this responsibility. So thank you.
You take questions?
Yes. Yes, sir.
Will you describe the navigators class and how you would recruit for that?
The navigators class.
Where prospective business development would come and get those, face to face in a room?
Yes, like kind of what we're working with the chamber is we are starting with home-based businesses right now to kind of just dip our toe per se, dip our foot in the waters to have met with planning and zoning to go over kind of how we would hold that class at the chamber and just kind of invite people that want to start out small businesses and how they can do it that way. We do look forward in 2019 to obviously grow to have more people to hold that class at the chamber for larger businesses and commercial locations. But we thought we'd start small and just kind of see where it goes from there. And our goal is essentially, obviously, is to not only introduce small businesses, but to help those small businesses grow into larger businesses and move into commercial locations with those classes as well. So,
have you enjoyed this challenge, Jennilee?
I have very much. It has been a challenge, and it's been a very different year for me. But again, I appreciate everybody's support. For those that don't really know me, when I returned in January, I was gone for 3 months on maternity leave. I had my son, William, and so it's been quite a year between having my first child. I have a 17-year-old stepdaughter, but I didn't have to baby her or anything. So having a baby and then taking this on has been a wonderful year, and I greatly look forward to 2019. So.
Great. Well, I'd just like to say, if I could, Dave, one of the things that we heard the most was about business, starting a business in Paulding County is it's got to be easier, it's got to be better, we've got to be able to find a way. It shouldn't be so difficult. And the two things I think I heard the most were, one was that runaround sheet, and the other one was just the what do I have to do? Give me a list of what I need to do. And it looks like you've started to attack those. So Frank and Ann and you as well. I just appreciate the effort to make it easier to start a business because folks starting a business have enough to worry about just getting their business to run. They don't need more obstacles and more roadblocks. And so I appreciate the efforts from our staff as well as the support of the board to be able to make improvements in that area. And I look forward to what's going to come in the coming years.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and I'd like to add the two forms that you did show, those are available online, right? So someone doesn't have to come into the office?
The building occupancy inspection is available online. The how to applies, because I have numerous versions of them, they are not
yet.
But as soon as I get in contact with somebody, I email them the information
Okay.
and I'll get them the right how to apply and checklist.
And the runaround form, I noticed that was form fill.
Yes, yeah,
So they
most
can
of our
fill it.
forms are
That's
form
great,
filled.
and that helps you out too, because sometimes you can't read people's writing.
Right.
So, okay.
Yeah, I know you can't read mine a lot of times.
Okay,
So
good.
that's one thing I didn't mention either was we are implementing the citizen self-service program with one of our software systems, and IT and myself are working very hard on that to allow people to apply for a business license online, pay their occupation tax for next year, all the goodies that we will allow them to do online. We are looking forward to that as well.
That's good.
So, yeah. Thank you.
I think one of the best things we did was when we pulled that out from the Marshals Department, and we allowed the Marshals Department to do what they're supposed to be doing, and that's helped them, and now we see a positive here, and so thank everyone for that. Good work.
Yeah, good job.
We have no one who has signed up for public participation on agenda items. Under the consent agenda, there are 17, and just bear with me because it has to go on the video. Number one is confirm the 2019 Paulding County Board of Commissioners designated holiday schedule. Number two is authorize the chairman to approve an actual cost utility easement limited agreement with AT&T in the estimated amount of $77,467 for the Dallas-Ackworth Highway, the Mount Tabor Church Road, Fry Road intersection improvement project. It's all in post 1. Number 3 is approved request by the Leadership Paulding 29 class to design and create a mural on the backside of the amphitheater located on the southeast end of Veterans Park. Number 4 is adopt amendments to Resolution 18-54 by adding changed wording in paragraph 4 and paragraph 5. Number 7 is reappoint Bruce Coyle to the Rolling Hills Resource Conservation and Development Council with a term ending December 31st, 2021. Number 6 is to renew the haul and disposal contract with BFI Transfer Systems of Georgia, Republic Services of Georgia, with a 3.6% increase for calendar year 2019. Number 7 is accept the following streets for perpetual maintenance by the county. The crossings at Timberlands, all these are in that subdivision. Red Fox Drive, Reliance Lane, Prospect Lane, Red Fox Court. Number 8 is the Alcohol License Review Board. Confirm this board with the term ending of December 31st, 2020. Mr. Todd Gaddis, Mr. Brian Dobbs, and Ms. Virginia Galloway. Number 9 is confirm the Animal Control Hearing Board. Reappoint with a term ending December 31st, 2019. Lynn Jackson from the chairman, Jessica Gullett from post 1 commissioner, Bacon as post 2 commissioner, Ms. Mandy Brower from the post 3 commissioner, and Wendell Hill, post 4 commissioner. Number 10 is the Cemetery Preservation Commission, to reappoint with a term ending December 31st, 2019. From the chairman, Todd Tibbetts, post 1 is vacant, post 2 is vacant, post 3 is Kathy Bookout, post 4 is Van Westbrook. Number 11 is the Fire Advisory Board, reappoint with a term ending December 31st, 2019. From the chairman, Emery Gordy. From post 1 commissioner, Donald Sharon. From the post 2 commissioner, Randy Richard. From the post 3 commissioner, Gary West. And from the post 4 commissioner, Chris Wheeler. Number 12 is the Planning and Zoning Commission, to reappoint with a term ending December the 31st, 2019. From the chairman is currently vacant. From post 1 commissioner is Matt Lowe. From post 2 commissioner is Ellis Aston. From the post 3 commissioner is Roger Leggett. From the post 4 commissioner is Jody Palmer. The city of Atlanta is still vacant, and the city of Hiram is Michael Sudan.
City of
Dallas.
Dallas.
Atlanta doesn't get an appointment on that, do they?
Did I say Dallas twice?
You said Atlanta.
You can go back and watch it, though. It's on video.
From the city of Dallas, it's vacant. Okay. City of Hiram is Michael Sudan. Number 13 is the Water Sewer Advisory Board. Reappoint with a term ending December 31st, 2019. From the chairman, Bobby Maddox and David Barnett and Bobby Hollis. From the post 1 commissioners, Jeremiah Fields. From the post 2 commissioners, Michael Creighton. From the post 3 commissioners, Jim Smith. And from the post 4 commissioner is Wayne Kirby. Number 14 is the Zoning Board of Appeals, reappoint with a term ending December 31st, 2019. From the chairman, Lamar Clark. From the post 1 commissioner, Roberts, from the Post 2 Commissioner Jack Hart, from the Post 3 Commissioner George Chaille, and from the Post 4 Commissioner Miss Deborah Seaver. Number 15 is adopt resolution 15-58, reappointing Doug Gober to the Paulding County Board of Assessors for the term ending December 31st, 2021. Number 16 is to adopt resolution 18-59, reappointing Alfred Creighton to the Paulding County Board of Assessors for a term ending December 31st, 2021. Number 17 is to keep Paulding Beautiful Board, reappoint with a term ending December 31st, 2021. As full board representative, Carl Kipfer. From Post 1, it's still vacant, and from Post 2 is Leslie Phillips. From Post 4, I guess from Post 3 is vacant, and Post 4 is vacant.
No, Post 3 is
You want-
no. Post 3,
There's no Post 3?
yeah, they're Bob Banks and Nancy Hart. Yeah.
They're still
Yeah.
in place.
Yeah.
Okay. Under old business, we have
Hold on,
none.
Dave.
Yes, sir.
Dave, just one quick question. I know we had it on our backup, but number 4 with Tabitha's name on it is just on the public agenda is a little vague. Could we get Tabitha just to give for the public benefit a brief information about what that is?
I can.
Thank you.
I would like
Okay.
to, if we don't mind, I'd like to pull number 4 out then. Ron? I'd like to pull number 12 and number 13 out and have those separate.
All right, number 4,
Yeah, I want to put those on the regular agenda.
number 4, 12, and 15.
13.
13.
4, 12, and 13.
Okay, our clerks made note of that, and we will add them for the new business. Is that all?
Tabitha's going to go ahead with number 4.
Thank you, Tabitha.
At the meeting in November, you passed a resolution that allowed us to apply for a grant for the 5311 buses. This grant was to be completed and filed November the 30th, and on November the 29th, I received a revised copy of the resolution, which contained some additional wording, and I'm going to read that wording. It doesn't apply to us because we don't contract out services, but it's required in the GDOT resolution. So the paragraph 4 that's added says, whereas it is the goal of the applicant that minority business enterprise, disadvantaged business enterprise, and women's business enterprise be utilized to the fullest extent possible in connection with this project, and that definitive procedures shall be established and administered to ensure that minority businesses shall have the maximum feasible opportunity to compete for contracts and purchase orders when procuring construction contracts, supplies, equipment contracts, or consultant and other services. This same grant process is followed for our fairly small 5311 program, and it's also followed for larger programs. So in some cases, they do have to contract services when they're building construction within their bus services. So that's specifically, it doesn't apply to us again, but it's required in the GDOT resolution. And we added number 5, which states that the official is authorized to set forth and execute minority business enterprise, DBE, disadvantaged business enterprise, and WBE, women's business enterprise policies and procedures in connection with the project's procurement needs as applicable. So this adds those 2 sections to the same resolution that you approved in November. And we have been given an extension through this evening to get the application. The application's been filed, but to get the correction made for the resolution.
That's great, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Under
Tell you
old
what,
business,
Dave, I apologize, Mr. Chairman, could we, could we also pull number 3 out?
Certainly.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll talk about those under new business. Under old business, we have none. Under new business, discuss action to place School Road at the top of the water line extension list, exempting the participation percentage requirements, and instruct the Water Department to begin engineering for the installation of the line and install the line as soon as possible. Commissioner Crowe brought this to the attention of myself and the clerk and the county administrator yesterday, and so he's going to present on this new business item with available questions from the water system director.
Okay, on this, this is a decision that I made. It lays solidly within my lap. We have a policy that says, as a rule, we need 70% participation before we tie on. I'm certain, without asking the homeowners at this time, will there be 70% participation? There will be. This is an area that I have been very active in. Laurie has been more than gracious. She may be a little bit uncomfortable with this, and probably rightfully so. But she has helped me with Overlook Trail, which we had people there that just absolutely had no water in their wells. They were dry. Mount Moriah Road, we've worked on that, where there's people out there today that still don't have water, but we do have that road approved. She has done the survey on it for the road right away. We have had 2 other roads, one other road completely done. This road, the lady that, one of the citizens that live on this road is the one that really lit this fire, that brought to my attention that we have people in the county that don't have water. In talking to Dave yesterday, we talk about a lot of things here in the county, economic development, we talk about jobs, we talk about various things. We're charged as commissioners to render services to our citizens of the county, whether it be fire department, whether it be sheriff's department, water, electricity, things of that nature. We're charged as commissioners to take care of these things. My concern has always been from day one water for our citizens, and it is today. And I put this on the agenda and asked for the other commissioners to vote on this, and so I guess we'll be voting on this at 2 o'clock. But this solely lies on me, nobody else.
As far as questions, I would ask Ms. Ashmore to explain how this varies from our protocol and procedures.
This board approved a water extension policy in January of 2017. Prior to that date, the water system had been accumulating over a decade's water extension requests. One of them was School Road. We have on file an extension request from 1996. The extension policy was developed after months of discussion with our Water and Sewer Advisory Board and individually with each of the members of the Board of Commissioners. It was based on having a minimum commitment by the people along the extension to tie on and become customers of the system, and that was a 70% commitment. We were then to prioritize any requests that based on the benefit to Paulding Water as well as the status of the wells. Property owners along water extension requests that we had on file were contacted to determine their current interest and need. School Road property owners were surveyed at the beginning of 2017, and there was follow-up canvassing done in 2018, and there is a 25% commitment by the property owners. So, Paulding Water has not proceeded with this because they did not meet the minimum criteria.
and so no action was taken. After learning of this being added to the agenda late yesterday, our engineering team researched our files, developed a rough estimate of the cost and length of this extension. With a 5,300-foot water extension would be required to reach the driveway of the furthest person who was affirmative in their commitment to tie on to it. The extension is estimated to cost $477,000 plus rock. And that would be a minimum cost of $59,000 per committed connection. For comparative purposes, our tap fees that they would pay are $2,025. We have not, my department has not reviewed this extension with the Water and Sewer Advisory Board because it doesn't meet the minimum commitment level. And so neither our department nor the Water and Sewer Advisory Board is recommending this extension.
Laurie, you said that 1989?
No, 1996.
The last time that the applications were put in?
Yeah.
Was there ever one from 1974?
I have no record of that. I have been told repeatedly that there was an extension request submitted, but it is not in our files.
The only other thing I would add that kind of goes with what you said, this agenda item, if it's approved, doesn't approve the funding for the line, so that would be a budget amendment that would have to be made next year.
Mm-hmm.
So, just so you're aware of that.
Laurie, how many roads are on the list that have met the participation requirements and are waiting for funding?
We have 2 presently that we have evaluated and that are on the list. We have received another that we have not finished evaluating. And so, yeah, we've got 2 and potentially 3 that have met those criteria.
Are they big projects or small projects or?
They are.
I'm sorry if you didn't have that
No,
information.
actually, I thought I had it with me. I do. We have one that is a 9,000-foot extension,
Okay.
one that is a 7,000-foot extension. I believe the third one that we've just gotten in is smaller, a shorter length of line.
Okay, thank you.
The school road is 5,300, the other was 9,000, one 7,000, correct?
Correct. Do you have any other questions?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Laurie.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So now we go back to
Item 3.
consent agendas, number 3, and that would be Mr. Jeff Harkins.
Jeff is he going to oversee this? You talked about that, Frank?
He's part of that leadership.
I'm sorry. He is part of that leadership class. He has discussed it with myself and with the chairman, and I think apparently he's here and available.
I heard you say my name and I came in. So
There you go. I don't have a problem with it. I just want to make sure we have somebody from the county that's going to oversee. In other words, I know it's been planned out a little bit, but I think with it being a county structure, and if you're part of Leadership Paulden 29,
I am.
that kind of puts you in a bad spot too if you were to say you didn't agree with something with the rest of the group. So I guess Frank and Jeff and commissioners, I just want to make sure that we have somebody else from the county that's going to kind of look over it and make sure that when the project's done, that we're good with what's been, because all we've gotten is a small drawing. And
Right.
you know what I'm saying, that sometimes something gets done, and Frank, we look at each other and think, well, that didn't turn out the way we thought it was going to turn out. And I really don't want that to happen, and it causes trouble. And I just feel like it's here, and we're going to, if we vote to consent to do it, then just want to make sure somebody else is in the loop. And I don't want to put Jeff in a bad spot. If you feel like, hey, this isn't just the way we need to do it, you're part of that group, so I don't want to put you in a bad spot. Help me, Frank.
Commissioner, I agree 100% with that, and I think that Scott Greene, our operations director, would be a perfect fit for that.
I agree.
Merry
When will
Christmas.
we see him? Oh, there he is. Okay. Does that make sense, Jeff?
Sure, and we'll also keep Michael Justice heavily involved since it's his park. But we run everything by Frank and Scott and Michael. Any concept, final concept that we come up with, we'll share with everyone and get everybody's input, especially, Frank and his team, to make sure everybody's happy before we do anything out there.
And
This
maybe
is-
a few veterans and
Absolutely.
just get some input.
Absolutely.
Also, on that related subject that's not exactly related, but while we're talking about Veterans Park, have we still talked about, Mr. Chairman, moving the monument?
It's active right
from-
now.
From Dallas?
Yes.
Because that's something we've been talking about for a while, and I kind of heard some scuttlebutt about it
Right.
4 or 5 weeks ago, and
It's definitely in play. Scott, if you want to give any update on that, commissioners. Thank you, Jeff.
thank you, Jeff.
Hey, Jeff, I think it was a great idea for Leadership Pollard to come up with that idea. Somebody got creative. I love it.
Yeah.
It's going to look good.
Yeah.
I'll be glad to address the status of the Veterans Monument movement.
Since we're on
This is,
that topic, be a good time.
yeah, this is the monument, the idea of moving the monument that's currently in Dallas behind the Wynn Building, the former county property. It is sort of orphaned over there, and there's been interest from veterans groups, specifically the American Legion, to take that on again and move it to the appropriate, maybe possibly more appropriate place. We haven't presented the location to the board yet. That would be upcoming. We do have a sketch and ideas we're gaining buy-in on, and we are also pricing different options. And some of that is still coming in right now. Some of the initial pricing was a lot higher than we expected and has put this off since it was not budgeted. We were also looking for the group to bring in some outside funding to help with the movement of that monument. Not that the board wouldn't necessarily want to fund the entire thing, but it was an outside group's idea to move it. It was an unplanned expense. So we were glad to entertain whatever they could bring, and we'll bring that to you first quarter in next year. I think we'll have some options for you to look at, and then try to keep it moving with the goal of doing it in the next calendar year, provided we can come up with the funding for it.
Scott, have you talked to anybody that's in the business of moving monuments of that size? Has that been, anybody talk to you about it?
Absolutely, yes. We're working with 2 contractors on a conceptual basis right now, not on a formal bid. Once we have a concept we think that is workable and that the board has buy-in with, and as well as the veterans groups that might be involved, then we would put it out for formal pricing. But we were initial pricing was between $40,000 and $60,000 to move it, so it's significant.
I know that we, as a board, signed that property over to Post 111, correct? Where it presently sits? Do they own that?
That's my understanding. It was the original monument, the existing monument location behind the Wynn Building was initially deeded to the Regents, and then it was corrected and deeded back to the, I believe it was the American Legion or the Veterans Group.
Okay, so the reason I'm asking that, they're on board with it. Post 111 is on board with moving it, correct?
Correct.
And a comparison to doing a new monument versus moving that one, has that been done yet?
I don't have any
Can it be
data.
done?
I don't have data. It was discussed as an option. The group did not like that option, They really feel like there needs to be a central focus, but again, that's something we haven't really presented to you to get your buy-in also. Be glad to do that, but that was the initial feeling. That's not a conclusion.
Sometime back, I know there was a group of veterans talked with me, and we discussed it. And I talked to some folks that move monuments, and they seemed concerned with this one not being able to be moved. But you feel like that you've got somebody that feels like they can move it?
Well, yes, obviously, we only wanted to work with somebody that has moved a monolithic monument. This is 6,000 pounds. Some of the pieces are up to 6,000 pounds. And there is a concern with fracturing. Obviously, the worst thing you could want to happen would be for it to break in the process of moving it, and then you've lost all that effort. It was a very expensive structure and a community effort originally, and so we want to be respectful of that. Make sure whoever is hired to do that has done it before and is comfortable. Again, there's a little bit of cracking and things like that could happen, and we want to make sure that can be done. So I'm glad to address all those issues.
I have had over the past year several half dozen or more people stop by the office and talk about it, and some of them was under the impression something was already going to happen, and we kind of talked to them and explained what was going on, and then some of them had heard it wasn't going to happen. So I would hope that the new board that's coming in here, the three new commissioners, would support working with that group and getting something done, if that's feasible, and work together to, that group would like to get it moved. And that's all I've heard is comments from folks out there that they would like to have it out in Veterans Park. Nobody said, hey, let's leave it. Things have changed in the city of Dallas when it comes to the schools that we've got there, and they would just like to make it more of a focal point. So hopefully, like I said, the three new commissioners will support working with that group and see what we can do, even if the community has to come together and help fundraise, do some things for it. But I think that would be a positive thing. I just wanted to make sure, Dave, that was being worked on, because I'd heard somebody, had two people stop by and say, hey, that they had heard from you that it was going to be after the first of the year. So just we were kind of holding off to after the first year. So I just want to make sure that's good, and that sounds good to me.
It's just a longer process, and y'all brought that out in the questions that you've asked and the considerations that Scott's wagon is fully loaded, overflowing.
He's got more room in it.
But we had hoped to get it done by Veterans Day. Didn't happen. So move into next year.
If I may, Chairman, add one thing. Initially we thought it possibly could be a fairly simple process, but the very concern that Commissioner Crowe raised about possibly damaging it caused us to take some pause and get some additional expertise involved. The last thing you want to do is take something that would cost you $80,000 to replace and break it. When we're talking about a move, that should be a fraction of that is the idea. So we want to be cautious, and some of the initial ideas were optimistic that it could be moved, maybe even with county forces. But we thought, okay, the last thing we want to do is ask George Jones or his staff to try to pick this thing up and then break it, and then have that.
George, he's already blaming you. You haven't done anything yet.
I don't.
That's one
I'm
of
sure
the
he could
reasons
do
I
it.
asked about a new one, because I know that some of the veterans I talked to, and I'm going to mention one named David Cooper, because he's going on to be with the Lord, but he was willing to open his wallet. Most of the time when veterans do something for veterans, we pay for it ourselves. We're not going to rely heavily on the county to put their money up. Of course, the location is here, but just consider when you're looking, should we do a new one? And I don't know what would happen if you left the old one in place over there. It's appropriate I think, for it to stay there, but if it can be moved, kept intact, I'm all for it.
That sounds great, and I think we should bring that pricing forward as an option, certainly. Thank you.
So new business 4, the consent agenda item number 4 has already been discussed by Ms. Pollard.
Yeah.
3. 4, yeah.
4.
Yeah.
That was 3.
Yeah.
New business 3.
Right.
So we have
12.
new business number 12. There's no one with the responsibility for briefing that. So 12 and 13 were pulled by Commissioner Pownell.
Yes, sir.
What are your thoughts there, sir?
Just wanted to make a couple comments on both of these. Number 12, I had for post 2, I'd asked to appoint Ellis Aston, and the reason that I did that was because I was informed a couple days ago that you were going to pull him off of the airport authority. I think Ellis has been a great asset on the airport authority. You, especially with his background in grading, and we've got a lot of property out there. I think he's been an asset. I think you have to have institutional knowledge, and you can't get rid of everything and have all new people and not have somebody sitting there with the history in order to do what needs to be done to move forward. So I was a little disappointed in that. Ellis has a lot of knowledge about the county. So I had talked to Ellis, you and I had talked, and I'll just leave it at that. I had gotten a different story of what happened. So you're pulling him off the airport authority, and you weren't going to do it today. You were going to do it the next meeting next year with the new commissioners. So I wanted to put him on the planning and the zoning. I feel like planning and zoning is a very important board. I think they all are, but I think it's a very important board for you to have somebody that's got institutional knowledge about the county and what's going on, and somebody that's willing to be there and not miss the meetings. If we're going to put somebody on a board, they need to be at those meetings, and they don't need to be missing any meetings. We can move on to number 13.
Let me make a comment before we go to
Okay.
13 on Mr. Ellis, or Mr. Ellis Aston, who his term would expire on the 31st of this month. He served long and well, and we had our last meeting, airport authority meeting of the year and the month last Wednesday, and I brought up that there were terms expiring, and he came to me and said that he was ready to step down. But I'm very excited you've got him on this, Todd. So I think he'll serve well on the Planning and Zoning Commission. And also, he's the kind of person, if any of you know him, that can be called whether he's on the board or not. And his areas of expertise, he'll share openly and willingly. So it's kind of like we got an extra board member there, is the way I look at it.
Well, we're going to make it a great day here today, and I'm just going to leave it at this. I talked to Mr. Aston.
Okay, you want to?
So maybe you and him can talk, and you can announce that later. But I'm glad to put him on there. I think he'll be a great asset on that board. I'm disappointed that he's not going to be on the airport authority. I think he has served well, but I have spoke with him in detail. So,
Dave, just for clarification, Ellis told you he was okay coming off that board? He was ready to come off? What was the?
That's exactly what he said last Wednesday.
Okay, thank you.
So move on to new business number 4, which is consent agenda item number 13.
Number 13, the Water Sewer Advisory Board, those, we're putting back the same folks on there. And I think that's very important in where we're at right now with the reservoir. And I just wanted to make that known to this board and to the public. Those folks have worked hard. They're at all the meetings, and they give it everything they have and take whatever time that's needed in those meetings to make sure that they're doing the job they need to do. And I found it interesting that at the end of the week last week that everybody we put back on there is the same ones. I think that was the right thing. There was no communication between the commissioners as far as that's concerned. And I think we did what was right, Laurie, to keep that in place for you, especially with the huge project that we have going with the reservoir. They've done a good job. And I'll end it with just saying that anybody that has served on a board in the past or serving today, I'd just like to tell you thank you. A lot of those folks never get any recognition. They come to the meetings, they do their job, and as some people have said, all they get is maybe a bottle of water, and every once in a while somebody may say thank you. But I appreciate all the citizens that have taken the time to serve on a board, because some of them, sometimes it's a thankless job, and being there, doing your job, we appreciate it. So thank you so much. If you've served, thank you.
That's the conclusion of regular business. I'd just like to take a moment to recognize former Commissioner and Chairman Jerry Sharon. Nice to have you here, Jerry. And also former Commissioner Wayne Kirby, who does serve on the Water and Sewer Advisory Board. So he's staying active. And it's good to see some newly trained folks back there that got back from Athens that will be on the 2019 Board of Commissioners. So that is the conclusion of regular business. Executive session, we have need to go into executive session for personnel, real estate, pending and potential litigation. So I'll entertain a motion at this time to do that.
Dave, I'd make a motion that we hear the public participation before going to executive session.
Thank you, Ron. Got a motion to do the public participation before we go in executive session. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. I have, if you wait just a moment, Ms. Wilkins, I've asked Lonnie to share with us part of the code, and so she's going to do that at this time.
Under the public participation ordinance, we do have a section 5 that says ineligible speakers, and these are classes of individuals who are not eligible to speak. One of those is captured under subsection B, that individuals, including their attorneys, agents, or assigns who are parties to litigation involving Paulding County and or its elected officials, are not able to speak while litigation is pending. I point this out just to let you know that Ms. Wilkins does not have a county suit, so she's not in a suit involving Paulding County, but she is a litigant in a suit involving the chairman himself, which would be an elected official. So if we're going to suspend that rule, I'd need a motion to that effect.
So,
Okay.
well, I was going to just have the board decide whether we apply that ordinance today or not. I just learned of it this morning, or I probably would have called you, Sue, and we could have talked about it. So, as Lonnie said, at this time, entertain a motion to suspend that
Well,
ordinance.
let me ask you this. What do you want to do? Because it's you that has the lawsuit against, not us. So I'm not gonna vote against you on this policy. So I'm gonna allow you to choose what you want to do, because it's you're the one, not us. And I mean that positive. I mean,
Well, I think we have ordinances for a reason, but this is the season, and if Ms. Wilkins wants to speak, I'm going to let her speak.
Do we have a motion? Is that a motion? I need a motion, a second, and a vote.
Okay. I'll make a motion that we allow Ms. Sue Wilkins to speak. Is there a second?
I'll second the chairman's motion.
Second by Commissioner Davis. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? You're on.
Good morning, Commissioners. Ms.
Morning,
Skipper.
Sue. Good morning.
And again, thank you for allowing me this opportunity. Todd, Vernon, Tony, I'm really not quite sure where to begin. Do I start by saying what a sad time
It is for Paulding County because soon we will lose 3 of the finest leaders this county has ever known. That, like so many residents, I'm both heartbroken and frightened to think of a future without your outstanding leadership and loyalty. Or do I thank you for being men of integrity who never compromised yourselves or this county while doing the job we elected you to do? My admiration and appreciation go well beyond your commitment to protect Paulding from becoming home to Metro Atlanta's second commercial airport. My gratitude even goes beyond all the wonderful ways you've moved Paulding forward with projects like the E911 Center, Richland Creek Reservoir, and the upcoming jail. Instead, like so many others, I am most thankful for the promise you made to be ethical, transparent, and true servants of the people, a promise you have upheld every day since you took office. And thank you for all the personal sacrifices each of you made in order to make Paulding County a better place to live. I promise your selfless dedication has not been in vain. Not only has our quality of life improved, but we are more conscious and more engaged than ever before. Your leadership has been beyond reproach. Leadership that restored hope and trust in a county that lost all confidence in its local government. Your successors have some mighty big shoes to fill, shoes that have raised the bar and set the standard for how Paulding County deserves to be governed. And I thank you. We all thank you. Gentlemen, good luck in the next chapter of your lives, and may you always remember you are loved and appreciated more than words can ever express. It has been an honor to call each of you commissioner and friend. Thank you and Godspeed.
Thank you, Sue. Thank you, Sue.
Thank you very much, Sue. Miss Becky, I want to thank you for your prayer this morning. I felt it was from your heart. And truly, this board has stood and prayed to do the right thing. I have been caught in the passageway back here with other commissioners praying. There are members on this board that are praying men that care. But you hit the nail on the head today. It's solely government lies with God. So thank you so much, and thank you for your nice accolade this morning, Sue. Thank you.
At this time, I'll entertain a motion to go into executive session for personnel, real estate, and pending and potential litigation.
Before I make the motion, I'd just like to wish everybody a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. And I hope whatever it is you do with your family, that you have a blast. Everybody gets some time off and enjoys one another. And I wish the best of New Year for Paulding County and the best for the 3 new commissioners that will be sitting up here in January. I just pray that you guys will do the right thing, guys and ladies. They'll do the right thing, and the Lord will just bless your socks off this year. And anyway, thank you so much. Thank you for allowing me to serve. It's been both an honor and a privilege, and I've enjoyed most of it. Some of it's been a little tougher than others, but thank you so much, and I hope everybody has a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and I'll make a motion to go into executive session for personnel, real estate, pending, and potential litigation.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Collette. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Stand adjourned for executive session.